Our movie begins in the middle of a devastating war. A powerful warrior arrives on the battlefield and wipes out the last remaining monsters. Suddenly, he notices a prince lying on the ground, barely alive. The prince desperately reaches out, believing the warrior has come to save him. Relieved, the prince watches as the warrior approaches and extends a hand. But instead of helping him, the warrior turns him over and starts collecting valuables from the battlefield. He does not care whether the prince lives or dies. To make matters worse, he takes a mysterious amulet that belongs to the prince. With his final breaths, the prince warns him about the amulet and begs him to leave it behind. Moments later, the prince dies. The warrior then heads toward the heart of the kingdom. There, a man complains about how difficult life has become and mocks warriors like him who profit from war while ordinary people struggle to feed their families. Before the situation escalates, the kingdom's wise man steps in and explains that this is no ordinary fighter. He was once one of the queen's greatest warriors. No enemy ever survived his blade. The wise man reveals that he was the sole survivor of a terrible massacre long ago. Since then, he has lived alone, helping no one and trusting nobody. Very few people even know his name. As someone asks about his identity, the stolen amulet suddenly begins to glow. It turns out the amulet is enchanted. A monstrous creature senses its presence and demands that the warrior hand it over, claiming it belongs to Prince Halgan. The warrior, named Day, insists he has never heard of Halgan and has no idea what the creature is talking about. The monster threatens to tear him apart piece by piece if he refuses. Day calmly settles his bill at the tavern, even paying for a broken chair before smashing it over the monster's head. He then lures the creature outside to avoid destroying the tavern. A fierce battle erupts. Day notices strange magical markings on the monster. The creature tries to bite him, but he pushes it back and continues attacking with his sword. However, his strikes seem almost useless. The monster eventually shatters his weapon and drags him closer with a chain. Holding up the amulet, Day taunts the creature. "You want this, don't you?" The monster charges toward him. At the perfect moment, Day grabs a sharp object and drives it straight into the creature's skull before escaping. Just when it seems the battle is over, the monster rises again. Day quickly mounts his horse and throws another blade into its second head, finally killing it. While traveling, Day stops beside a river and throws the cursed amulet into the water. Yet moments later, he feels something heavy in his pocket. To his shock, the amulet has returned. Thinking it must be some kind of madness, he throws it away again. And again it comes back. Eventually, he realizes the amulet has become bound to him. It is cursed, and there is no easy way to get rid of it. As night falls, he visits a witch, hoping she can free him from the curse. The moment he enters her hut, she recognizes him without even looking. "Perhaps fate has brought you here for a reason," she says. Without wasting time, Day shows her the amulet. She immediately senses the dark magic surrounding it. Unfortunately, she explains that this type of curse can only be broken when the owner dies. Since the original owner, the prince, is dead, the amulet has chosen Day as its new master. Day asks her to break the connection, but she cannot. The strange symbols engraved on the amulet are written in an ancient language she does not understand. However, she knows of someone who might help. After receiving a sacrifice from Day, she performs a ritual and discovers the name of a wizard called Dodd, one of the few beings capable of reading the ancient language. If he is still alive, he may know how to remove the curse. She tells Day where to find him. Before he leaves, the witch warns him that she has seen great danger in her vision. Day laughs. "My entire life has been dangerous." But the witch insists that this threat is different. This time, fate itself is waiting for him. Ignoring her warning, Day takes the amulet and leaves. The next day, he reaches the city where the wizard supposedly lives. Following the directions, he enters an abandoned cave. Inside, he finds human remains scattered across the ground and a large chest locked with chains. It is obvious that a violent battle took place here, but Day is not interested in investigating. His own sword was broken during the fight with the monster, so he searches for a replacement. As soon as he picks up a new blade, the chain chest suddenly begins to move. Nearby, he spots a key in the hand of a corpse. Thinking someone might be trapped inside, he reaches for it, but the moment he grabs the key, the ground begins to shake. The corpses are swallowed by the earth. Day quickly drags the chest away. Then something horrifying happens. A girl's head emerges from the ground, and a giant slime-like monster bursts out behind it. In the chaos, Day discovers a small creature and learns that it is actually the wizard Dodd. Dodd introduces himself, but there is little time for conversation. The monster attacks immediately. As they fight for survival, Dodd explains that he warned the thieves who entered the cave before them. He told them the creatures fed on human flesh. They ignored him and became the corpses now scattered throughout the cave. Day grins and says, "Let's worry about surviving first. Then you can tell me the rest of the story." Carrying Dodd on his back, Day charges forward and fights off the serpent creatures with his sword. He throws Dodd to safety and manages to lead them both out of the cave alive. Dodd is overjoyed, Thank you, I'm finally free after spending so long trapped inside that chest. Before he can finish celebrating, another serpent suddenly attacks from behind Day. Dodd tries to help with magic, but his aim is terrible, and he almost hits Day instead. Frustrated, Day stops him immediately. Please do us both a favor and stay out of this. In the end, Day grabs the monster and slams it against a wall again and again until it finally dies. Once everything calms down, Dodd sits beside Day and examines the amulet. Isn't this Prince Halgan's amulet? You stole it from him, didn't you? Day immediately takes offense at the word, stole. When I found him, he was already dying. Dodd shrugs. He was still alive. That still counts as stealing. Day glares at him. I didn't ask for lessons or moral advice. He even threatens to throw Dodd back into the cave and let the monsters deal with him. Ignoring the threat, Dodd focuses on the amulet. After studying it carefully, he realizes the magic surrounding it is incredibly powerful. He explains that the spell originates from an ancient kingdom known as Asmodean, a civilization that disappeared centuries ago. Very few people survived its fall, and its language is practically forgotten. According to Dodd, only one wizard is known to understand it, a legendary scholar named Zuzan, who mastered many ancient languages. Day sighs in disappointment. So you can't read it either? He cannot believe he traveled all this way only to find a wizard who cannot remove the curse or even read the amulet. Fine, then where can I find this Zuzan? Dodd hesitates. Well, as far as I know, he's dead. Before Day can explode with anger, Dodd quickly adds some good news. Zuzan was buried with his scrolls, notes, and magical research. Among them should be the Asmodean cipher, a translation key capable of decoding the language on the amulet. If they can find it, they may finally understand the curse and learn how to break it. Day agrees to leave at sunrise. Dodd immediately suggests staying behind and waiting somewhere safe. Day laughs. If I had left you in that chest, nobody would even know you existed. And if I leave you alone now, you won't survive 10 minutes. Realizing he has no choice, Dodd reluctantly agrees to accompany him. Along the journey, Day tells him about the strange symbol he saw on the monster called Brosen. He draws the mark in the dirt. The moment Dodd sees it, his face turns pale. That's impossible, he recognizes it instantly. It belongs to the cult of Satur, an ancient order of dark sorcerers believed to have vanished centuries ago. The cult was obsessed with forbidden secrets from realms of evil that no ordinary human dared explore. Their leader was a terrifying sorcerer named Necro. After Necro was defeated, the cult disappeared from history. No one had heard of them ever since. If the symbol truly belongs to them, then only one explanation remains. Necro might still be alive, and if he is, the danger ahead is greater than anything they can imagine. The two continue traveling until Day suddenly notices the amulet glowing once again. Immediately, he realizes something is wrong. Danger is nearby. They hide and observe from a distance. Soon they spot a masked commander accompanied by a strange bird-like creature used for scouting. The creature senses Dess's presence and alerts its master. The commander throws several small bombs onto the ground. To their surprise, the bombs transform into soldiers who immediately begin searching for them. Seeing no way out, Day steps forward and reveals himself. The masked leader approaches. Then he removes his mask. To Dess's shock, it is someone he once knew. His name is Godik. The two fought side by side many years ago. Godik even calls Day by his real name, a name Day has not used in a very long time. As they speak, old memories return. Long ago, they battled dark sorcerers together. Those sorcerers were members of the same cult of Satur. During the war, the corruption of dark magic consumed Godik. Day witnessed the transformation with his own eyes and was forced to kill him before the evil could spread. He personally separated Godak's head from his body. What Day never realized was that the dark magic would one day bring him back. Now Godik stands before him alive. Godik reminds Day that despite everything, he survived. Necro restored him to life. And now Necro has returned to reclaim the kingdom. His mission is simple. Take the amulet. Help Necro complete his plans. Repay the debt he owes his master. Both warriors draw their swords. A fierce duel begins. Godik attacks with overwhelming strength, trying to end the fight quickly. But Day blocks every strike and refuses to give him an opening. Their blades clash repeatedly. At one point, Godik threatens to kill him. Instead, Day surprises him by cutting through part of his armor and forcing him back. Using the opportunity, Day grabs Dodd and escapes before the enemy soldiers can surround them. Eventually they manage to lose their pursuers. Dodd can hardly believe what just happened. You dragged me into a nightmare. This isn't just a curse anymore. Necro is actually alive. He reminds Day that Necro was one of the most powerful practitioners of dark magic ever known. The amulet clearly plays a major role in his plans. If they want any chance of surviving, they must solve its mystery as soon as possible. Without wasting another moment, Day carries Dodd onward. That night they finally reach the land where Zuzan is buried. Unfortunately, Necro's followers are already there. From a distance, Day and Dodd watch them perform a strange ritual around the grave. Dodd recognizes it immediately, the ritual of resurrection. The ceremony is used to reanimate corpses and turn them into servants of Necro. The heroes wait until the cultists leave. Only then do they approach the underground tomb. There, they encounter a mysterious woman named Breeze. She has been watching the grave as well. Without asking permission, she decides to join them. Together they enter the crypt. Breeze helps Dodd push aside the heavy coffin, revealing Zuzan's remains. Just as Dodd predicted, the legendary wizard was buried alongside his scrolls, notes, and magical research. They begin searching desperately for the Asmodean cipher. Meanwhile, Day remains outside, guarding the entrance and making sure no one interrupts them. Everything seems under control. Then suddenly, a monstrous servant of Necro attacks him from the darkness. And at that exact moment, inside the tomb, inside the crypt, a terrifying faceless creature suddenly attacks Dodd and Breeze. The monster grabs Breeze and tries to drag her closer, preparing to devour her. Outside, Day is locked in battle with another beast. He fights with everything he has until he finally shatters its jaw and destroys it. Without wasting a second, he rushes back into the crypt. Just in time, he saves Breeze and drives his sword straight through the faceless monster's skull. At that moment, Dodd announces some good news. I found it. I found the cipher. But before anyone can celebrate, the remains of the slime creature lying on the floor begin to move. Then it speaks. In Necro's voice, the creature delivers a message directly to Deathstalker. Necro announces that his return is near. He promises to reclaim his kingdom, hunt them wherever they go, and recover the amulet. Most importantly, he swears that he will personally kill Day when the time comes. As soon as the message ends, the creature begins reforming itself. Fortunately, Breeze discovers a hidden exit at the back of the crypt. The group escapes through the secret passage before Necro's forces can find them. Once they are safely outside, Day thanks Breeze for helping them. She introduces herself proudly. I'm a thief. The confession surprises no one. The group decides to rest before continuing their journey at dawn. However, Day suddenly wakes in the middle of the night when the amulet begins glowing once again. Danger is near. Not wanting to risk his companions, he leaves the camp alone and challenges the threat to reveal itself. A massive stone monster shaped like an armored soldier emerges from the darkness. The creature attacks immediately. During the battle, Breeze unexpectedly appears. She distracts the monster and jumps onto it, stabbing one of its eyes. Unfortunately, the creature quickly turns its attention toward her. Just before it can kill her, Day intervenes and destroys it. Breeze later keeps one of its fragments as a souvenir. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Necro revives Godic. The dark sorcerer performs a horrifying ritual, combining flesh and forbidden magic. Within moments, Godak's missing arm is replaced by a living, monstrous limb. Necro reminds him that his purpose has not changed. Together they will restore the cult of Satur, destroy Deathstalker, and reclaim their lost kingdom. The next morning, the group continues their journey. As Dodd sleeps, Breeze teases Day. Your friend seems comfortable. Day quickly clarifies that Dodd is only helping him remove the curse. Nothing more. Breeze laughs. You really don't like having friends, do you? She then talks about her own life. She spent years stealing and surviving, but eventually became bored with it all. She joined them simply because she wanted a new challenge and a little excitement. Their conversation is interrupted when they discover a military camp ahead. Everyone inside is dead, not merely dead, slaughtered in a brutal and horrifying way. The amulet begins glowing again. Another monster is coming. This time, the creature resembles a mummy and wields a massive chain as a weapon. Dodd immediately panics. You really attract monsters, and not ordinary monsters either. These are among the deadliest creatures in the entire kingdom. Day tells him to stay quiet before the monster discovers them. Unfortunately, it is already too late. The creature locates them and attacks. Breeze rushes forward to fight it, but the monster vanishes before her eyes and suddenly reappears behind Day. At the end of its chain is a giant spinning blade. The deadly weapon swings toward Day. At the last possible moment, the monster freezes in place. For the first time, one of Dodd's spells actually works. Everyone starts celebrating until Dodd accidentally loses control and the spinning blade slices Dess's shoulder instead. Day groans in pain. As the fight continues, he struggles to land a hit because the creature constantly disappears and reappears. That night, the group makes camp. Breeze notices that Dess's wound remains open. She offers to treat it. Are you secretly a healer? Day asks. Breeze smiles. I know something better. She hands him several strange seeds. According to her, one reduces infection, another improves blood flow, and a third eases fear. Day immediately objects. I'm not afraid of anything. Breeze rolls her eyes. I meant fear of dying from your injury. When he still refuses to listen, she presses the seeds directly onto the wound. Day lets out a scream loud enough to wake the entire camp. Breeze bursts out laughing. That's the strongest warrior in the kingdom? As she finishes wrapping the injury, Day surprises her. For the first time, he admits that he is glad she joined their adventure. Several hours later, Dodd excitedly calls everyone over. He has finally decoded the symbols. Day eagerly listens as Dodd reads the translation aloud. At first, it sounds like their journey is finally paying off. But then Dodd reveals something far bigger than a simple curse. The text speaks of the ancient prophecy of Talon. Long ago, two great sorcerers ruled the kingdom. Talon represented light, Satur represented darkness. Both desired absolute power and fought endlessly to destroy one another. As Satur's strength grew, Talon forged an extraordinary weapon. A weapon so powerful that only one chosen warrior could wield it. According to the prophecy, the weapon would disappear and one day return when the kingdom needed it most. Dodd reveals the shocking truth. The weapon is hidden inside the amulet. For generations, the artifact passed from owner to owner, and nobody ever discovered its secret. The weapon itself is known as the Light of Talon. It consists of 4 legendary swords united as one. The prophecy claims that a warrior will rise from obscurity and wield the 4 blades to extinguish the 4 hearts of darkness. Before they can discuss the revelation any further, soldiers suddenly surround them. To Dess's frustration, after surviving monsters, dark sorcerers, and flesh-eating horrors, they are captured by ordinary humans. The soldiers take them to Queen Grendel. She rules over the thieves, wanderers, and outcasts of the kingdom. There, Day learns an unpleasant truth. Breeze betrayed them. She informed Grendel about the amulet. When Grendel finally meets Day, she congratulates Breeze. "This time you brought me something truly valuable, the survivor of the massacre, and Halgan's amulet." The queen officially welcomes Breeze into her organization and rewards her for the capture. Grendel then turns her attention toward Day. She reminds him that years ago she warned him about the laws of her territory. Whenever treasure was taken within her domain, a portion belonged to her. Day ignored those rules and kept all his spoils for himself. Now, she claims, the debt has finally come due. "You warned me," Day admits. "But I never cared." Grendel smiles. "And that is exactly why you're here now." Grendel reveals that she already has a buyer for the amulet. A very important buyer. She plans to sell it to Prince Baldur, a descendant of Prince Halgan's royal bloodline. Naturally, the royal family would pay a fortune to recover such a priceless artifact. Before Grendel can execute Day, Dodd, and Breeze suddenly steps forward. That wasn't our deal, but Grendel ignores her completely and orders her soldiers to kill them. Then chaos erupts. Monsters attack the camp from every direction. Grendel's men are slaughtered within moments. Even Grendel herself tries to fight back, but the creatures overwhelm her. For the first time, she looks genuinely terrified. Day rushes toward the amulet while Grendel is still alive. But only seconds later, one of the monsters completes the job by tearing her head from her body. The creatures then turn their attention toward Day. Just as he prepares for another battle, he notices Dodd standing in front of the monsters, calmly playing music. Everyone stares at him. "What are you doing?" To their shock, the monsters stop attacking. They become completely peaceful. Day blinks in disbelief. Looks like they just needed some real music. Dodd grins. Or maybe they needed a hug. Before anyone can stop him, he walks toward the monsters and embraces one of them. Amazingly, the creature responds with kindness and allows them to leave unharmed. After escaping, Dodd reminds everyone that the royal family is waiting for the amulet. According to Grendel's plan, Prince Baldur is expecting its arrival. More importantly, the royal palace may be the safest place to unlock the amulet and uncover the true power of the Light of Talon. When they finally arrive, the royal family is already waiting. Prince Baldur turns out to be far less impressive than expected. Spoiled, pampered, and constantly complaining about the cold, he hardly looks like a future ruler. Day approaches him and introduces himself. "I brought you Halgan's amulet." The prince nearly faints from excitement. At first, Day prepares to hand it over. Then he reminds Baldur of everything they endured to reach this point: thieves, monsters, dark sorcerers, and death itself. Baldur immediately understands. He signals for a reward. Unfortunately, the reward is not money. Instead, Baldur offers them positions as royal guards. Day stares at him in disbelief. "So after fighting monsters, kings, and nightmares, my destiny is to work for you?" Before the argument can continue, magical bombs suddenly rain from the sky. The bombs transform into soldiers. Godek has found them. As panic spreads through the palace, Baldur screams and hides behind his grandmother while abandoning his own guards. Day, Dodd, and the others prepare for battle. Dodd destroys Godek's scouting creature, but then they see Godek himself standing nearby. He quietly says goodbye to the fallen beast before turning toward Day. "Our business isn't finished." Day agrees. This time, he intends to end it forever. The duel begins. At first, Day blocks every attack. Then Godek unleashes the power of his corrupted arm. Dark magic surges through his body. Day tries to resist, but eventually Godek overwhelms him and drives his claws deep into Dess's chest. Day collapses. Breeze rushes in to help and fights desperately. Moments earlier she had finally apologized for betraying them. Now she watches helplessly as Godek prepares to kill her too. He grabs her by the throat. "Is she important to you?" he asks Day. Trying to save her life, Day denies knowing her, but Breeze misunderstands and thinks he is still angry with her. Before Godek, then he forces Breeze to drink corrupted black sorcery. Slowly, the spirit of Satur begins taking over her body. Necro laughs. No one can stop me now. At that exact moment, a voice echoes from above. Everyone looks up. Day has arrived. Alive. The entire fortress freezes in shock. Day cuts through Necro's soldiers and frees Dodd for the second time. Together they rush toward Breeze, but it is already too late. Necro claims that her soul now belongs to Satur. Only her body remains. Day ignores him and challenges Godek one final time. Their last battle begins. Day tries repeatedly to destroy Godak's cursed arm, but ordinary weapons cannot damage it. Then Dodd unexpectedly calls out to Necro. The Dark Lord turns around, confused. Dodd claims that Necro's magic is nothing compared to his own. The insult works. Both sorcerers summon enchanted warriors and force them to fight through magical control. While Necro focuses on Dodd, Day continues battling Godek. Eventually, Godek knocks Dessa's sword away and prepares the killing blow. But Day catches him off guard. He steals one of Godak's dark magic bombs and shoves it directly into his mouth. Goodbye. The bomb explodes. Godek is blown apart. What remains transforms into a slime creature, and Day destroys it as well. Meanwhile, Necro defeats Dodd's magical warrior and begins attacking him directly. Dodd taunts him. You still haven't learned how to aim properly. In reality, Dodd has been distracting him long enough for part of the fortress to collapse. At the same time, Satur fully emerges from Breeze's body. The ancient evil is finally reborn. Dodd looks completely hopeless. Necro has already thrown the amulet into the dark magic vessel, and Satur is moments away from destroying everyone. Day shakes his head. I've never met anyone more pessimistic than you. Then he walks toward the vessel. Looking around, he sees Satur kill Necro himself. The situation cannot get any worse. So Day takes a risk. He plunges his hand into the dark magic. The prophecy activates. Because he died and returned to life, he is finally recognized as the chosen warrior. When he pulls his arm back out, he holds the legendary weapon, the Light of Talon. The four sacred swords have awakened. Satur immediately attacks. Day strikes back and tears open a massive wound across the creature's body. Dodd reminds him of the prophecy. This is the moment it spoke of. Day remembers something Breeze once told him. Everyone has their own heart. If that is true, then Satur must have several hearts as well. He guesses there are 3. Pulling one blade from the Light of Talon, he attacks. 1 heart, 2 hearts, 3 hearts, all destroyed. The gamble works. Satur shatters into pieces. The darkness leaves Breeze's body. Day rushes to her side and is relieved to find that she is still alive. Later, Dodd asks him how he knew Satur had 3 hearts instead of 4. Day smiles. A special friend once reminded me that everyone has their own heart. I did the math and trusted the idea. The next day, the kingdom celebrates. Dodd points out that Day fulfilled the prophecy and saved the entire realm. Breeze tells him that the palace doors are now open to him. He could live like a king or even rule the kingdom if he wanted. But Day has already made his choice. Instead of keeping the Light of Talon, he destroys it. No one should possess that much power. Not even him. With the threat finally gone, Day chooses freedom over a throne. This time, however, he does not continue his journey alone. For the first time in many years, he has true friends beside him. This video was written by Ahmed Abdulrahman and narrated by Mr. A Stories.